Back now at 9:43, we want to listen into the courtroom because testimony, or really, I should say, the judge is speaking in the Lindsay Clancy trial.
We were expecting experts to be on the stand right now, but instead we are listening to the judge asking Clancy questions, and she's answering the judge directly. Let's listen.
Exhibit J for identification. I find that she is competent to enter into this stipulation. And I find she understands the consequences of entering into this stipulation. So accordingly, I now accept the proposed stipulation of facts. Thank you.
I just would like, Your Honor, for the record, to again reiterate the fact that we have not been contesting the government's case in chief, if you will, have been agreeing to evidence, and this stipulation basically relieves the government of having to bring in dozens, if not more, witnesses to prove chain of custody of blood, fluids, the bands, DNA, all of that. Rather than have days of testimony, this stipulation will avoid that. So that's why we're stipulating to it.
All right. All right. Commonwealth, anything else you want to add? Okay. All right. So, like I said, I have made those findings. I'm going to accept the stipulation that Ms. Clancy has agreed to and that the parties have agreed to, consistent with J for identification. Counsel, are we ready for the jury then? Any further?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right.
Yes.
All right. Why don't we bring the jury in?
Okay, so you've just heard Lindsay Clancy speaking directly to the judge in this case. We've not heard her say very much, in fact, if anything at all, since this trial has begun. And there we heard her speaking back and forth to the judge. All we could glean from it was that the judge is asking Lindsay Clancy if she agrees to these stipulations. We don't know what those stipulations are. We heard her attorney, however, saying that we've not been contesting the government's case in chief. This is unusual to see this happen. We were expecting expert witnesses on the stand all day.
And it sounds like the jury is coming in right now. It sounds like she was entering a stipulation or agreeing, excuse me, to a stipulation of facts. Now, again, we hadn't caught the very beginning of what the judge was asking of her. So we are working to get a little bit more information on that. We're taking a break here because now that, again, the jury is coming in right now.
Yeah, and we've just gotten word from our control room that was able to listen to that, what was happening in the courtroom, saying that it seems like at this point the defendant, Lindsay Clancy, has agreed to not have the government bring in all of the witnesses in the chain of command, meaning anyone who had any interaction or role in the attempts to save these children or save her or bring her through the process that she had to go through once she was taken into custody. That's what we're hearing, that they've agreed not to have to bring in all of those witnesses. Now, we can't read any further into that because quite honestly, we're not in the courtroom. Our reporter that is in the courtroom is sitting there right now to gather all this information. But that's the very latest we've heard. That all happened, by the way, without the jury in the courtroom. I think it's important, Monica, that you mentioned that the jury was just now being brought in.
And we heard her attorney Reddington mention that they were not contesting certain set of facts that the Commonwealth was charging her with. So that maybe plays into that. Maybe this will cut down on the length of this trial if we're not going to have a number of witnesses testify. It was supposed to last 6 to 8 weeks. The judge already said we were ahead of schedule. We're in week 2, so this could really shorten the length of this trial.
Absolutely. And the list of potential witnesses, we reported on this before the trial even began, was more than 70 potential witnesses. So this could really dramatically shorten the length, as you just mentioned. All right, finally, they are calling in a witness, and things should move forward now at this trial.